in regards to nuclear, okay? Because what we're noticing right now is whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's crypto, whether it's AI, whether it's, you're noticing Microsoft, some of these companies are realizing we need nuclear energy that's going to be cleaner to deal with. So one, and then we see how many facilities China's been building, and they're playing offense in this. We've fallen behind for decades, not even like a decade, 4 decades. I think it was in the 70s, 80s when we stopped completely. Chernobyl, couple of these happens. We're like, listen, we're pumping the brakes. We're not building these facilities anymore. And even if you, Rob, go to the images to show how we're building versus others, nuclear facilities, you'll see we haven't done any in a long time. There's a couple charts they can go to. There's a better one than this one. But how do you repackage that? Like you said earlier, Inflation Reductionary Act or whatever, the names that they give to it, right? What do you do to bring confidence to others that, guys, we kind of do need to build these nuclear generators, nuclear facilities, because we need this energy long term? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Where do you stand with that?
Yeah, we need a lot more baseload power in this country. And we need more nuclear. We need more gas pipelines. We need to make sure that coal plants all across the country aren't just getting closed down. The people who are talking about wind, which is an intermittent source, as if it is a substitute for baseload power, are just so out of touch with the reality of the moment. We need not only more energy production from within our own country, but we also need to do it at cheaper costs. And with this push for AI, there's a lot of people out there who are kind of spooked about AI and the uncertainties, and will take jobs and all the information power that will exist. I mean, I get all of it. I understand. But the idea that we just hit the brakes and allow China to win it, it's going to be a lot harder for us to catch up later if we don't just win this race for AI right now. In order to win this race for AI, you need more baseload power. And I mentioned earlier on in this discussion we were having about all the groundbreakings that we visited. I was in, I mentioned I was in West Memphis, Arkansas. There was a $4 billion Google project that broke ground just a couple weeks before I had gotten there. They entered into an agreement with the state of Arkansas and Entergy, that's the energy company in the area. Arkansas relies on nuclear in a big way. And they're able to come up with this project that is a net benefit for the Entergy ratepayer of just over $1 billion. So when we do it, we can also do it smartly. It's also important to talk about water reuse. There are other aspects of running these operations that we can have maximum efficiency, so that's great for the environment. It would be good. It's best for our own economy, for our national security, and for our environment, because we tap into these energy supplies so much better than so many other countries do elsewhere around the world. The president has been advancing Nessie pipeline to get natural gas into New York. That just got its approvals from New York and New Jersey. There's a push for a pipeline called Constitution Pipeline to deliver natural gas into New England. There's talk about a liquid natural gas pipeline in Alaska along the Trans-Alaska Pipeline route. The Transwestern pipeline, they're doing an expansion of $5.3 billion to deliver natural gas from New Mexico into Arizona. And the other thing that I want to mention too is the need to tap into our rare earths materials and to also build out the entire supply chain, because we are relying on countries like China way too much, from both the original extraction and especially with the way China's done the expansion with the Belt and Road Initiative, but then not just with the extraction out of the ground, but also the whole process of putting together that battery, that chip, until that point where you get the final product. We start to finish need to work on this here in the U.S. Magnets, batteries, chips, the list goes on. Getting that investment here is important. I mentioned Idaho Falls, Idaho. That was a nuclear facility that Oklo, O-K-L-O, just broke ground on, and they want to build a bunch of others. So these small modular reactors, SMRs, something that is becoming a reality, not as a hypothetical for a few years from now, but stuff that's actually getting built at this point today. And the efficiencies are so much better. Like the innovation, like you care about the environment. We have come along so far with stationary sources. We just mentioned a whole bunch. And as well with mobile sources, light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles. And one other thing I wanted to mention is something that's really interesting to me, advanced recycling. I was in Texas, in this place called Baytown. And I think It's maybe owned by ExxonMobil. It's a lot of partnerships with a lot of different companies. And there's so much concern about recycling plastics. And you'll hear like many in the left talk about plastics in the ocean. And you get bipartisan support for some of these bills that have passed Congress in the past, like Save Our Seas, Save Our Seas Act or Save Our Seas 2.0. Advanced recycling isn't just breaking down plastic into smaller plastic. It is like breaking it down to its original compound. It's amazing how far innovation has gone right now, and it's incredible.
Wow.
Like on the right on the environmental front, the opportunities that are in front of us. So, like for all the Americans out there who you want to go rally behind some environmental NGO to boycott, Keystone Pipeline or whatever's next. You want some litigation to stop all this innovation and investment in the country. All you're doing is empowering countries like China. You're weakening the United States, and you're out of touch really with how far these advancements have come right here in America.
I think this is good that you guys are focused on this, 'cause I think we need to win the energy, war as well, long term. It's going to cause all this. What number was it yesterday? Was it 15 trillion, 16 trillion that the president's gotten commitment of? Maybe even 18 trillion of commitment of people, of companies and countries investing here. You saw he talked to MBS, and just on a 5-minute conversation, got him from 600 billion to $1 trillion. Yeah. Those folks that are going to be investing here, you need the resources to be able to make the investment, knowing I'm going to get a rate of return, and energy is going to be a big part of it. So it's great that you guys are
American jobs. They pay taxes. And by the way, like the people out there are like, oh, that's not true that trillions of dollars are coming into the United States. When President Trump was talking about this, I was at the White House for this dinner with MBS this week, and the president saying it, sitting next to MBS for a $1 trillion Saudi commitment. And then you look a few people down and you see Tim Cook from Apple, and they've pledged $500-600 billion. You look a few more seats down the table and you see Jensen from NVIDIA. They've pledged $500-600 million. And there was so many other people inside that room. I mean, you might have been at, for all I know, if you added up the amount of pledged investments from just inside of that the East Room of the White House that night, you are way above all of the left-wing fact checkers who are trying to claim that this money isn't coming in.
Now, if this continues and you guys get the results and the right person campaigns in 28, this could be, because in order to really build on this momentum, you guys need 12 years. You need more than 4 years. So a big part of the concern for me is, who's going to come afterwards? We know he's a doer. Who's going to be a doer at his level to continue to trust for voters to say, I got somebody in there that's going to continue. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.